Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's me, Brokenxlive here. I just wanted to go a little bit about Blue Protocol. I mean, at the moment, it's only out in Japan. You can't really play it overseas yet. I think the release is scheduled for next year, 2024. We don't have a real date yet, but since I moved to Japan this past month, I was finally able to get my hands on it, just try it out, see how it feels how it plays. Um, so yeah, I didn't really follow too much the development process before. I mean, of course, I watched trailers and stuff, but I wasn't like super researched before I got into the game. I just got here and I was like, I'm in Japan now. Now I can play this without any fear of getting banned or anything. So yeah, I'm just gonna give my kind of like first impressions. As you can see, I'm level 50. I hit max level here on the easy fighters class. I also leveled my subclass to already to level, I think it's like 25 or something. Not really too sure. Yeah, 26. And I haven't tried out all the other subclasses yet, so this experience is only from yeah, the easy fighter class and the twin striker class basically. That I only dabbled into a little bit. But yeah, I want to mostly go over the leveling experience and just the overall experience I had with the game. Uh, Again, I didn't research a lot before that. I went into it kind of pretty blind. Of course, I researched stuff on the way during the leveling process and everything, and got more and more accustomed to all the systems. And as you can see, also the game is only available in full Japanese. So my Japanese is pretty okay, but still, I had some trouble, understanding everything here because there's a lot of like gaming, uh, like fantasy vocabulary and stuff that I don't really know too much about. So yeah, I had to research a lot of stuff, watch other YouTubers and stuff on the way. But the leveling experience mostly was pretty blind. I just try to go in, just see how it goes. I mean, it's pretty straightforward once you get the hang of it. Um, but yeah, so basically, where should we start? I mean, the leveling experience is pretty much like almost any other MMO. You start off, you have like one ability only, and you can do quests, and yeah, just level up through that. I mean, it's pretty guided. They hold your hand at the beginning, all the stuff you can do, but pretty soon the most important like feature and the way you level up is these not just quests, it's also these adventure boards. The adventure boards, they're like little guidelines for quests and stuff you can do. And basically you have like here the first mission you have to do, and then there's a goal, and then there's also like side quests you can do here. And most of the time the goal gives the most experience, and yeah, you can unlock the currency, the normal one. It's like I don't know, gold or silver in WoW or something. And you also get some other like consumables, plugins for your weapons and stuff. More on that later, but that's basically how you level. It's pretty straightforward at the beginning. I mean, there's a different kinds of quests that I wasn't really sure like what all of them are. Of course, you have the main quest line, which I already finished on this character, of course. Um, but then there's a lot of normal quests. Here you go to this quest board basically. This is with like your main quest hub, and you have you see here level 11 to 20, 21 to 30, and you can select quests that basically are for your appropriate to your level. And then there's kill quests, which are usually like this. There's also gathering quests, which are the green ones, and then you have some special ones, which are like exploration quests, which are, yeah, just help you explore everything a little bit, and they're usually pretty easy. And there is some other quests which I don't really have anymore. They have like a little cross over them, and that basically means you unlock something by completing them, like something. I mean, decently important. Like it's not just like experience, gold, and then the quest item or something. You actually get something, unlock something from that. So I try to focus on those quests and the main quest line, of course. Uh, but yeah, when you start out, it's not like super fast, the leveling experience, especially from grinding. It feels like if you just from killing mobs, you don't get that much experience. It's mostly through quests and the main quest and the adventure boards, which I didn't really know at the start that like how much experience the adventure boards actually give. But yeah, once you realize that, you just go all the different boards. You unlock them basically just by playing and by finding them, unlocking them through chests you find or clearing some dungeons. Like there's a lot of different ways where you can get the boards. Also by getting a specific level, for example, you have these weapon boards basically. Every time you unlock a new weapon you can craft, you can also get a new board for that, and there's like also new missions. It helps you, gives you some materials that you need for crafting the weapon, and so on. And then you also have the class boards, which are just guiding you as well through for leveling up your class specifically. These are really like generic missions. They don't always have involve you to collect something or do sometimes it's really simple stuff. Just I don't know, invite someone to your party or something. But it's pretty easy. Mainly you want to focus just on following the main route here, get to the end, and that's also where the second leveling process come in. You don't only level up your your class, you also level up your adventure rank basically. So you can see that here. I'm the max rank, which is at the moment it's 9. I think they will gonna go to 10 or something. Maybe I don't know. Maybe new expansion or maybe more difficult content or something. But basically, you start at adventure rank 1, which I didn't know really at the start, like how you do that, like and how important it is to level it up there, because there's a lot of stuff that's like gated behind your adventure rank. Some certain quests, some areas, some stuff will not unlock, or some content you can't access unless you have the appropriate adventure rank. And that's what you do here with Muti or Muley. I don't really know how she's called in the English version yet. We don't really know that, but she's also in the hub here, and basically she tells you what you need to do to upgrade your adventure rank. But usually you need to finish the board for the adventure rank, and then you go to her or do some other kind of quest. It's something along those lines, and they usually it starts out pretty simple, pretty easy from the first rank, and it gets increasingly more. I wouldn't say difficult. It's more tedious, and that's the most important thing that I want to talk about here. Regards to leveling, I mean, overall, I would say the leveling was quite enjoyable for the first time, mainly because I went in just completely blind. I just wanted to see how does the game feel, how does it play, just the leveling, just learning everything. I think even though I played the Japanese version and I had some trouble understanding stuff, the game did a pretty good job in explaining you like everything you need to know. There's a lot of different systems and stuff, which was not really that easy for me to understand right away what it all does. I mean, ability-wise, it's not so difficult because you only have your 4 main abilities over here, as you can see, and you just learn them by leveling up. You don't need to go train them or anything. You can do that later when you're max level. There's some extra special stuff that you can do, but mainly it's you have 4 abilities, base abilities. You have 1 ultimate ability. I think it unlocks at like level 15 or 10 or something. I'm not really sure. I don't remember. And then you also have this imagines. The imagine system is like the main way to enhance and like customize your playstyle basically from how you do. Of course, you have your abilities as well, but the imagines give you like all the stats and make your character stronger because you don't really have any gear in this MMO except for your weapon basically. So the weapon is of course really important. You want to level that. I mean, get the best weapon all the time that you can get. If I go to the weapon crafting thing, you start off just with a level 1 weapon. You can craft a level 2 weapon, I think, also at the start pretty quickly. And then it's like a level 10 weapon. level 25, I think, then 35, then 40, and then 50, basically. So you can craft the weapons of all different classes, and yeah, you just always need to find like specific material to craft those weapons. At the beginning, it's pretty easy. You need like one of this and like eight. The ones on the bottom are usually where you have a lot of. These are just the regular stuff that you find all over the world, like herbs and like ores and all that kind of stuff. And then you need usually one or two other specific materials, and those you get from clearing specific dungeons and missions and so on. That's basically how the weapon system works. There's also a lot of different kinds of weapons. You have like frost weapons. You have I don't know what is this? I think wind or something. And then you have darkness, light, fire weapons. All kind of different ones. And they give like a specific element to your attacks, which is important for some classes and some abilities. So yeah, but that's not really that important to the leveling. That's just yeah, what you think about that later on. But yeah, that's basically how the gearing works. You don't really have like any other equipment except for your weapon. You get your stats mainly through these imagines. As you can see here, if you go on them, this is a level 41, and you have all the different attributes that they give you, like attack power, defense, and then it's like intelligence, all the kind of stuff, dexterity, and so on. And that's how you get like yeah, better base stats. You get stronger. You also have these main battle imagines, they're called, or B imagines. These are the E imagines. The B imagines are you actually use those. During fighting. You can use them, and they summon an actual monster or like an imagine basically, and it helps you. Either it does like a big attack that does a lot of damage, or it gives you a certain buff or something. It's discerned by basically the icon. You can already see it. This one, it has a little green in it and not just red in the background. That means it gives you a status effect by using this one. The red only ones are attack ones. They do an attack, they do damage, and they also have specific roles and abilities under them, but it's not that important. And then of course you have your main attack with your left mouse button if you play on PC. You can play this game also on Switch and console, whatever. Uh, as of this moment, I'm not really sure what all the platforms that are supported, but yeah, on PC it's left mouse button. You have your main attack, and right mouse button is your secondary ability. That depends on the class you're playing. Since I play the Aegis fighter class, it's my shield. So basically, I hold out my shield and I can block with that. Um, yeah, that's just for this class. Other classes have like other. You can do like some combo attacks with the Twin Striker because they have two axes with their class, and you do like different attacks with left and right mouse button, and you can do like some combo attacks. The Easy Fighter class like works like you have shield gauge, and you basically it, the class has some problems still at the moment, but it's basically you're kind of like a tank. You have attacks and then you block attacks. That's basically what you can do. You're like more the defensive, but you have some uh, options to do good damage and stuff too. But yeah, that's more of an end game kind of stuff. Yeah, during leveling, it's definitely a fun class. I really enjoyed it. Like I'm more of the melee kind of play style player, so yeah, that's basically what it is. What I really liked about the leveling experience and the game in general is like it's just the game and the graphic, the visuals are like really beautiful. To be honest, I'm not really that much into these anime style games. Like I don't know, I played a little bit of Genshin and that kind of stuff, but it's just not my kind of thing usually. But I really like it in this game. I don't know why. It's just it looks so it looks really beautiful and just everything meshes really well together. So it's cool that they went with it and they really made it really immersive and just nice looking. What I want to go over specifically to the leveling is how it's really set up, because yeah, it seems at first that you have like a lot of options. You have quests, you have the adventure boards, you have missions. If you go here, uh, yeah, to the command menu, you have missions, which is like your dungeon system, which you have a different item level requirement. Basically, you get more item level, the more higher level you are, the better weapon you have, and then through the imagines you have. Basically, what level your imagines are, the higher item power they give, basically. And then you can enter these, and you get some rewards, experience, some money, and you get some materials which are mostly needed to craft specific weapons, specific imagines, and that kind of stuff. Um, which you what you can see over here is like the it feels first like, oh, it's an entry count. You can only do like, oh, 10 dungeons a day or something. No, that's not how it works. Basically, this is your one-time clear reward, and by using one of these tickets, you can get double the reward. You can get like, oh, it's not everything double, but you get some extra stuff, which is really nice when you're farming the materials for the weapons, the ones you want to craft, because then usually only get one of them that you need, but if you get the extra bonus loot, you can get two. I mean, that's also how it's a little bit, it's like a stamina, kind of like a stamina system. It's a little gated way of you not that you can't grind like, I don't know, just dungeon and get double rewards or all the time. Yeah, it feels at first, it felt at first to me too. This is like really setting up for some pay to win system where you can just buy these tickets and then, I don't know, farm. But it doesn't really matter that much. You can get the materials for crafting a weapon pretty quickly. So I don't know, for the leveling, it doesn't matter at all. That's a topic for a different video. But yeah, at first you have these all these ways where you can level up, and then you have the main story, which is like, I'm not really the kind of story driven. I mean, I love when MMOs have good stories, but mostly I just want to enjoy the experience of playing more than just experiencing the story and just experience the world by myself, kind of. And this is definitely uh, more like the sandbox kind of way, where you also have a story though. So you're like guided through the world first with the story, but then you have a lot of sandbox elements where you can decide what you want to do, how you want to progress your character, and so on. Um, But what I realized very quickly, it wasn't that much of a problem during the leveling, because the leveling was still fun. Everything was new. You have all this different zones. This is like the main city, and then you go out here. You have this big area here, which is divided into like different quadrants. They're for like different levels. This is like the first zone. Then you go here. This is for like level 5 to level 15 or something. I'm not really sure yet. This also is from like level 10 to 20 or something. And this one is like a more higher level area, like 35 plus, I think. And then you go to the next area here, and so on and so forth. You go through basically the whole world. The main quest line takes you through everything. You do lots of different new quests. You encounter specific enemies. And there's a lot of ways which make the world pretty interactive. Like there's a lots of events happening that are time gated, or like they have like conditions that you need to kill a certain amount of monsters in that area. Then like a big named monster. They call it named monsters that spawn. They're like kind of like world bosses, you could say. They uh they have they usually require quite a lot of players to be. I mean, I've done it with 3 players or something, but it takes then like 10, 15 minutes or something. But usually there's a lot of players around, and everybody wants to do these, so it's usually like 10 plus players, and you kill them in a couple of minutes, or I don't know, even faster, depending what level they are and what the other players are around. And they drop those imagines, the recipes at least, that you can craft those. Yeah, because you can also get them just through drops, the imagines, but usually you craft them here at this guy, and they require certain materials, same as weapons pretty much. It's almost the same systems, except for at the weapons you have like more RNG systems where you can have like rolls of how strong the weapon is and whatever. With imagines you only have there's 3 different kinds of extra stats that they give basically, and it's usually like a 1/3 of a chance, and usually one of them is the best, and when you get them it's fine. It doesn't have like a roll value from, it can roll here from like 7 to 12. It's also, if you get it, you get it. um, but also during leveling that wasn't really that much of an importance to anything really that matters later on. During leveling, you always want to just have the highest level ones, so you have the item power to enter the next dungeons and so on and so forth. Um, the quests I just want to touch on, they're like there's a lot of quests. I just want to say that. Like a whole bunch of side quests, a whole bunch of these quests, sub quests that give you something that is useful, and exploration quests and whatever. So you feel like, oh my god, there's so much to do. It feels kind of overwhelming because there's so much quest, especially if you're a completionist and you want to quest through the whole area and then move on to the next one. Then you're gonna have a pretty tough time here doing that. And also, actually, you don't want to do that. But I can touch on that later. But yeah, you don't want to complete every single quest like going just through the game. Just go through whatever quest is like your level appropriate, and also keep up with the main quests, and then you're fine. And work on your adventure rank next to that, so you have that up, yeah, up to your level and up how far you are in the game. But the quests in general, they're like either you kill stuff, you talk to that guy, and then he orders you to kill stuff or to collect something specific. So there's not too many different kinds of quests if you go to the normal ones. It's usually, yeah, kill this named mob, like this world boss, or this big mob, or kill like 10, I don't know, 10 of these mobs, or collect 5 of these resources that you gather around the world. It's really not that much variety as it maybe first seems, because there's so many quests and so many systems and whatever. But it it kind of it was fine during the leveling, because it was like everything is new and stuff, but it gets kind of old after a time, because it's like always the same thing. And even though it seems like, oh, you need to gather something specific or that, or you need to kill these and these mobs, it's it's not too crazy. Like it's pretty simple. You basically spend your time going to that specific area, killing that mobs, gathering those resources, go back, turn the quests in, and so on and so forth. And uh, so you might think like, okay, then it's the adventure boards that bring like all this diversity, all this excitement into the leveling experience. And it's kind of like that, but the system has a lot of flaws in my opinion. And also in the way how it scales up the higher level you get, the when you wait to get to the end game. um, but at the start it feels great. Like you get a new board, you do the first thing, you reach the goal, you get like a big bunch of experience, you jump like a whole level. It feels really nice. But the boards, they get more and more tedious. Like at first it's like, oh, kill 10 of these mountain goats or whatever, and I don't know, clear this dungeon once. But later on, it gets to like kill 20, kill 30, and sometimes even kill 50 or 100 enemies in like one area. It's just it scales up pretty quickly. And basically, they're always, all the boards are tied to some imagine, or something that you have unlocked or you're gonna unlock. So they're also tied to one certain zone, or one certain level range basically. And if you're not always doing the right boards that are appropriate for your level, you're gonna do a lot of backtracking and doing stuff again, which I was doing because I wasn't really exactly sure how it worked at the start. Because you can see up here you have this number 10 out of 10. It says the active boards that you have right now. You can't work on all of your adventure boards at the same time. You have a limited amount. This was up until a big patch we got last week, I think. It was 8, and before that it was even only 5 or 6, I think. So they already are adjusting this. So because there's a lot of yeah, negative feedback they got because of that, because it's so tedious just like searching through your adventure boards that you have. Yeah, basically you go to a new area, and okay, what boards do have quests for this exact area, and then you have to go through all your boards and like, okay, this is for that area, activate this one. And before you activate a new one, you have to deactivate a different one. So basically, I have these 10 active, and if I want to activate, for example, this class board, which I have almost finished, but I have 2 quests left over, I can't activate it up here. It's grayed out. So I have to first deactivate a board here, deactivate it, then I can go over and activate this one, and then I can work on the quests in that one, and that gets really really tedious. Like there's also a lot of higher level boards where you have to go back and clear dungeons from from that are like way below your level basically. I mean, your level gets synced to that you don't just go in and stomp everything, but it's the same thing. You don't get then super a lot of experience or whatever. You're gonna do a lot of backtracking. At the first, if you don't always look at, do I have the right boards active? Am I in the right area? Am I killing the right mobs? Which is also pretty annoying because you can you can't have like you can't track everything basically. Like in let's for example in World of Warcraft, if you have like Questy or a leveling add-on, you see like exactly on the map what mob do you have to kill, where do you have to go, and that's also a really big point of criticism I have for the game. You only can have, as you see here on the right on my screen, you only have 3 active quests at a time. So that's like you always have to check in your quest log, what area am I? What quests do I want to do now? And then you activate, for example, these 3 quests. And you can only show one that you actually track, like track even more, like with I can show you that. It's like it's like this thing, this little arrow thing, and it leads you to where you have to go to do that quest. And you can only do that for one of the 3 quests. So it's really annoying tracking all your quests and what quests you want to do next. Um, that's something I really, really don't like, and it gets very annoying very quickly, basically. Especially when the game starts opening up more and more the higher level you get, and then when you have like 10, 15 quests in your log at the same time, and you jump from area to area quite a lot in this game, uh, and then you always have to check, okay, what area am I now? What quests want I do now? I always can only pick 3 quests and do those. And it's similar with the adventure boards, because you can only have one shown in your HUD at a time, only one of them. So even though you have 10 boards active, you can only follow one of them, like really visually well, only one of them by activating that there. And then when you go to that area, for example, let me just show you. I'll just teleport you out to the world. The way it shows you that you're killing the right mob or you are in the right area is basically through an indicator that is next to the mob's name. It's like a big star kind of thing. And for your adventure board, if you want to advance it, yeah, you can activate only one of them, and then yeah, you will see that mob. But basically, this is for example right now, just because it popped up. This is one of the named mobs, world boss mobs or whatever you want to call it. They aren't that huge, so it's not like a world boss, but it's a named mob. They spawn like not that infrequently, but it's like I don't know, once every 20 minutes. Depends what area, depends on what mob it is. And basically, this is also the icon that shows up next to the mobs that you have to kill. So, for example, this one here, it has just only a white circle next to it. So you're not tracking this mob basically. It's not in one of the 3 quests that you have shown here on the right, and it's also not the one that you're following with your adventure board. So you don't know if you need this mob or not for maybe a different quest or a different adventure board, which is I just that one was really really annoying for me at the start. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe they'll fix or work on that, or maybe there's something I don't know yet about it. But it felt kind of annoying just to manage at the beginning. And it's still annoying now, to be honest. I just want to say that. Basically, for example, there's a lot of boards at the beginning that require you to clear a certain dungeon. For example, let's say the first dungeon. I did this dungeon not just like 2, 3 times to craft a weapon, but then like 5, 6, 7 times over again because of adventure boards I didn't have active at the moment. I didn't know yet. And even though now that I know this, I still have to go back, retrack, and search through all the adventure boards over and over again, see is there a quest that I still have open for this specific dungeon. And yeah, so for example, this here, the ones in these brackets are like mission dungeons where you have to do, and you can't search that. There's no search function here on the adventure boards that lets you search for these. So you have to go manually here, click through all of them, and see, do I have a quest for that dungeon? Do I have any quest open for that area that I want to quest in next? And I think that is one of the biggest flaws. And also, I don't really like the system in general. I mean, yeah, it's kind of cool. You have these missions, they give you a path, they guide you a little bit, but basically it's just like there's no uh from a role playing RPG perspective, there's no incentive for you to go and do that except for the rewards. Oh, you get that much XP, you get that stuff. But it's just like written on a wall. Yeah, kill 10 mobs and you do it. You don't go talk to a guy, to a quest giver most of the time. I mean, for quests are like that. You go to a guy, they have like a story. You have to kill these. He needs help through that. For that, that's totally fine. I don't have a problem really with the quests itself, but the adventure boards feel like just extra tedious work that you have to do on top to unlock certain things. And at the beginning, it wasn't really that big a deal because you do a lot of them passively while you're leveling. You're not really paying much attention at the beginning. You have this cool world. It's really beautiful. It's very, very nice. The game does a lot of things really, really well that I really enjoyed. Because it's not that overwhelming. I mean, yeah, it seems there's a lot of stuff going on, but you get used to all of it a lot, and you just enjoy like running around in the world. When you get your first mount, it feels so good. It's like at level 20, I think you unlock that, and you go around gathering these rocks and stuff, and just do quests, get to next areas, kill new mobs, and do missions in between. It's a good mix in overall, but the boards they don't really add enough, I feel like, to the leveling experience of the game that makes it doesn't feel that great. It feels cool, yeah, you have then clear that pops up, you reach a goal, and but the rewards, everything, it's like it gets old pretty fast, yeah. I mean, at the beginning it's cool when you get like a big experience chunk and you jump a whole level or something, it feels nice, but it they're just tedious work you have to do, like gather 20 things in this area. They're like not really that specific too. Some are kind of specific, like you have to equip a certain imagine and then clear this dungeon, for example. But most of them are like kill 20 mobs of this kind or collect 10 things of that kind, 10 herbs or whatever. And they're just really, oh, it gets so tedious after a while. And it gets worse and worse the higher level you get. That's like a big issue I have. I mean, that's also a problem a lot in the end game. But basically, when you want to do something new, you want to get something new, you want to progress your character, like get a new imagine, get a new weapon, it gets harder and harder. Or not really harder, it just takes a lot more time to gather all of that stuff. Experience wise and leveling wise, it's totally fine. I feel like it's not like it takes super long. You have to grind for hours and hours. It's okay. It's a good like progression curve through the leveling process. But but yeah, all the other stuff, the material gathering and that, it gets kind of tedious after a while, and it does not get better the higher level you get. So at through the leveling it's fine because you have the main story quest, which is like it's really a good way to a good balance basically through all the gathering you do for certain boards, for certain missions. And then also you have the main story quest with like cool cutscenes and whatever, some quirky characters. I don't know, if you like anime style storytelling, anime style characters, then you're definitely gonna like this. Story isn't like anything super great or whatever, but it's okay. And uh so yeah, during the leveling it doesn't feel that bad because you have a lot of like other stuff that balances it out. But after a while, the quests and the boards get so tedious and so annoying to do that it's like, I don't know, it loses really its flair after a while, and you spend so much time managing your boards and your quests and your inventory, and because also everything looks so similar. Like, for example, the gathering is like you only there's a lot of different materials and a lot of spawns in the world where there's only like this, or spawns only in this specific place, but it all looks the same. You only have this indicator, you pick it up, and then it says the name of the thing, and then, oh, okay, that was that. But you have no other visual differentiation between everything, and that just I don't know. That's something I feel that's missing in the game. For a game that's that beautiful, like visually, graphically, it's like the character, you have so many customization options and stuff, but that just gets, I don't know, it loses its touch a little after a while. Also, there's not that many different types of monsters. You feel at the beginning, oh, there's new ones and new ones, but they get repeated over and over and over again and don't really change much, which makes the grinding and the farming also more and more boring, more and more tedious you do it. So, yeah, that's something that I realized on my first playthrough already. That's why by reaching level 50 already, I was also feeling kind of a bit, I don't know, tired out from just all the same stuff and same things I did over and over again. Which also brings me to the missions and the dungeon, which are cool. Like the first time you do it, because the first time you always do them through the story. You go there and you do it with the characters of the story. You do it by yourself, and then you unlock the dungeon, and then you can do it with other players. But it's basically just like a rush fest to the end as fast as possible. You have like certain battle areas in between while going through the dungeon, which basically you can go to that barrier and then you have to kill those mobs there, and then the barrier goes away. You can advance to the next, and at the end there's a boss. And yeah, what people do is they just rush to the next barrier instantly. Like there's packs of mobs in between, but you just pull everything always. You always just rush to the end, to the next barrier, group everything up, kill everything, rush to the next barrier, group everything up. And it's like there's not much like really interactive, cool mechanical gameplay there. Some bosses have like some decent mechanics, like areas you have to avoid on the ground, indicated by like red circles or whatever, damage over time effects, stuns, jumps. Bosses also have these big smash attacks usually on the ground, where you have like a big wave that goes like usually circularly around, and you have to jump to avoid that. Otherwise, you get hit, you get knocked down, whatever. But usually everybody just groups all the mobs up, smashes all their buttons, uses all their battle imagines, all the attacks, and everything dies basically. It's not that super difficult. Later on, after like level 35, 40, the mobs start hitting a little bit harder, but you just, I don't know, you get stronger, imagine stronger gear. You usually counteract that a lot, and it's not that big of a deal. Especially if you're a range class, I feel like they do so much damage and they have so many ways to avoid getting damage. It's like you just stand far away and you just blast everything basically. I think as a tank here, which is like the the class has a little bit of a problem. It's like identity wise, still it's not like a strong uh, MMO or RPG triangle with tank, healer, DPS. I feel like everything is just kind of a DPS and can do some other stuff a little bit. And so you're not really tanking much during the leveling. You're just using your abilities, hitting the mobs, doing them damage, maybe grouping them up if you have an ability like that. You're not really like pulling a lot of aggro and tanking it or something. You do that a little bit more later, and they fixed a lot of the stuff in the latest patch, but it doesn't really feel like there's a specific role diversity here. There's only certain classes have healing spells, yeah, and that's cool and whatever. But it's not that really set in stone yet, at least. Like how the game wants you to have a party set up and do that. So it feels like a lot of just slugfest, and like I don't know, everybody just smashes their buttons together, and it's also a problem that I have. It's like visually way too overwhelming at the beginning. Um, Especially when you get more players. So I have the option turned off for seeing other players like battle effects, which I wasn't doing at the beginning, and you don't see anything here basically. I'm not really sure where it was there, but yeah, basically in the options you can change that. I think it's over here uh, somewhere, and then you can turn off basically all the effects from your party members, and that made it a lot nicer, especially when you can do like bigger raids that you can do later on. There's like timed gated event raids that you can do, which is like one big mob, but it's not that much different. I felt like from like just doing a normal dungeon boss, except for it's just way bigger. But nobody's really tanking. Everybody's just smashing their stuff, trying to avoid like the abilities that are thrown there. It's not really that's also something maybe for another video, because during the leveling, the raid encounters aren't really that big of a of a focus point. But yeah, I just I just feel like the missions, there's a lot of stuff that can get improved there in the dungeons, because you just do them over and over again. It's always the same. It's like, okay, cool, a new dungeon, but it's a different layout, but it's the same thing. You rush to the next battle area, kill everything, group everything up, go to the next one. In the end, there's a boss. A rinse and repeat over and over again, basically. And yeah, that's what I felt like is a lot of the problem during the leveling itself. Don't get me wrong. My overall impression from the leveling, especially if you're going blind, you don't know much stuff yet. It's pretty cool, because everything comes together pretty well. Like questing, exploring, the main quest line, everything you can do. It's pretty. It feels good. At least for like the first 35 levels. I mean, the first like 20 hours, 30 hours I played were pretty amazing. It was pretty cool. I just liked going for everything. I mean, it took me a lot longer because I had to spend a lot of time reading, translating all the quest text, the mobs, everything I had to do. Um, so yeah, it was a little bit of a language barrier too. Like that's gonna be easier once players get the Western version in their hands and they have their own language there. Because if you're not fluent in Japanese, it's gonna be kind of hard to, yeah, get a grip of everything that's happening here. But even though like my Japanese is like a little bit above like mediocre, I would say it's not perfect, but it's not bad either. I had a good time in the leveling for sure. Also, I loved you have some a lot of chances to interact with other players, mostly through those named mobs that I showed before. You group up with other players and you kill them, whatever. That's kind of cool. It's If there's a lot of players, it doesn't feel that interactive. Everybody goes there, kills the mob, leaves, and whatever. But I don't know, just so many times you just run into another person while questing, and you just kill stuff together, because you just start realizing, oh, this guy is on the same adventure board. He's trying to kill that kind of mob, and you just kill it with that guy. I don't know, you help each other, whatever. Sometimes you die, you just go there. You can revive other people that died. Doesn't matter what class you are, and then yeah, they say thank you, whatever. I don't know, maybe you exchange friends, whatever. It's kind of cool. I don't know. I think like there's a lot of MMO. I mean, it's an MMO, and it really comes to life in a lot of aspects in this game. But sadly, not through the dungeons a lot, which I found kind of a little sad, because in like World of Warcraft or something, you have to look for a group and stuff. And here, everything is already automated. You could automatically teleport it into the dungeon. You get grouped together with random people. Nobody really talks in the dungeon except for maybe doing some emotes or say like hi or whatever. That's kind of it. That is a little bit that's a little bit underwhelming. I think there's some stuff they maybe can do there. I'm not really sure. But you have like clan system, or it's like team systems here, which is like a guild system. You get together and stuff. It's kind of cool. And yeah, I what I love the most about these kind of games is just the random encounters you have with people while out in the world doing quests, doing, I don't know, missions, whatever you're doing. That's what I kind of like. And so you have like during the leveling, you have a good mix of everything. That's why I felt like it's cool. Like it not really anything super groundbreaking in this game. It's like your regular MMO tropes of like doing quests. You have a main quest line. You have gathering you can do. Farm new equipment through the Imagine system, which is like kind of like a gear system pretty much. And then yeah, you get new weapons and whatever. You learn new abilities. It's not really any super special, but just with the style the game has, with the graphics, with the beautiful world, everything, it feels pretty nice. I would have to say. Also, it's pretty fast, everything. I mean, you have when you teleport somewhere like a 5 second delay or whatever. You don't have that in the main city, but if you're traveling around, but everything is pretty fast, I want to say. Like, there's not too many huge loading zones and stuff. It doesn't feel like if I can make a comparison, for example, like D4 or Lost Ark, where you have a lot of stuff that like slows you down and like gives you loading screens, gives you time where you have to wait, teleporting out of dungeons or something. It's there's not that much of it, and like mounting up is instant. Yeah, you have a stamina, a dash bar, but you feel pretty fast in this world. The world is not that super huge, but it's not that small either. But you're pretty fast. You're zooming like all over the place. Killing mobs is like pretty quickly, depending on what kind of level they are and whatever. The fighting feels good, even though you only have 4 abilities really and one ultimate ability. It's not that boring. I felt like during the leveling at least. I feel like endgame wise later on, it really feels like you want some more stuff to do while fighting. But it is more deeper than you think at the start. Like you start off and you think like, oh, there's only like your main attacks, and then you have your shield block and whatever, as this class for example. And then you have 4 abilities like the shield charge, like this double slash, one AoE attack for me. Like I have there's a lot of different abilities, but it seems at first pretty simple. Like you have this pool of what is it, 12 different abilities, and you can only use 4 of them. You have 2 of these imagines that you use that cost abilities for you, but they have a pretty long timer usually, cooldown like 1 minute or something. And then the ultimate has like 2 or 3 minutes. I think it's pretty long. But there's kind of a lot of stuff on top of that that makes it pretty cool how you can min max your fighting style and whatever. So what I really liked, for example, on this class that I played, you have some form of animation canceling that you can do, and it actually is a big advantage, like damage wise, in what you do. And that's what I really like. If you learn more and more about your class, there's so much more you can do. Like if you just keep hitting your main ability, you do this 4 hit combo here, and what you realize at the end of the combo, it's like a pretty long cooldown before you start doing the attack again. But what you can do in this class is like at the end of the thing, you jump once and you can cancel it and then you do it again. Which is like it's a small thing, but for me that's like something that really makes the fighting style cool in my opinion. And then also, you can, if you do hold forward and do your attack combo, you do a different combo. If you hold backwards, you do like an up smash. If you hold on the side, you do like an AoE swirl. Like it seems really really simple at the start, but there's a lot of options you can do. They are not really that much super effective, and it changed the playstyle a lot. But I like it at least that you have those things in there basically that you can do. Also, if you block an attack, you can do like a retaliation attack, which I like. Um, but yeah, that was really cool figuring all that out during the leveling and changing the abilities around, like how you use all of your abilities. What's the best way to do that? But once you get the hang of it, or you read like a guide and like that's the best thing you can do, then yeah, you definitely get metagamed a lot in this game, and it gets kind of a little bit unimpactful, I think, especially in group play, because you do your basic attack, you do your damage. You don't really have those moments where it's like, oh, that feels so fucking good. For example, the best thing where you have that is like when you group up a lot of mobs with this ability. For example, it pulls everything together. Then you stun all of the mobs, and then like your party members and everybody just uses all their big abilities, and you kill everything. That's like what feels the best about the combat system. But you don't really have like some super cool like I don't know, counter whatever cool things that you can do to really make it, I don't know, very intricate and very deep layered or something. So I think that's something they can work on, like maybe add another ability, base ability on top of that, like a fifth one or a sixth one or something. But during the leveling, I don't know, I felt like it was enough at least to make it an enjoyable experience. That's just my take on like the class system and like the ability system that you have basically. Uh, that's the most thing that I can say about the combat. I feel like we went over questing and the adventure boards, which are like your main way of advancing and leveling up. The missions we went to over as well. There's quite a lot of them, which feels nice. But again, they're all the same playstyle. You group up all the mobs and so on and so forth. It doesn't really change much either at the end game, which is a topic for a different video. But yeah, that's you'll get you'll get used to it and you get kind of fed up with doing the same thing over and over after a while, which is one thing I have a little bit of a problem. I think there's a lot of like seasonal events. This game has a season, which also has a season pass, which is their form of a battle pass. Basically, it's the same as with all the other games right now that are on the market. You have your base level, your base season pass, which you advance every day or every mission, whatever you do, you advance it, and then you have a premium one, you advance that, and you get more rewards, which are like mostly consumables or sometimes, which you could call maybe pay to win, some enhancing your chance to get a better success at a weapon craft, for example, which is at the start not that big of a deal, but it gets more and more in the end game. It's a little bit more prominent, but it's not that huge big of a deal. It's not like you get like a 30% power buff or something through those, and you can still do that without those. But what I realized is that there's some in every season there's at least one a recipe for a battle imagine or a man imagine that is usually best in slot for almost every class in this season. And that was first a really big red flag for me because I don't really like that. As you can see that the max rank level 100 is the recipe for that battle imagine, and that's usually the strongest one. If it's but I thought about like this. If it's this is the only thing that is like I don't know what you could say like money gated or pay to win, then it's maybe fine because this game is free to play. There's nothing you have to really pay for apart from that. There's a lot of the game has a gacha system. The game has a lot of cosmetics, like a lot of the cosmetics. If you go to the what is it called, Rose Ragnar's store, there's a lot of cosmetics and gacha and stuff you can do, but there's not, as far as I realize so far, something that you can buy that gives like a lot of power. The only thing I saw is this one Imagine recipe that you get on only the premium battle pass. There is a downgraded version on the normal one, which is the skills basically can be enhanced by different by either an alpha enhancement or a beta version. So there's an alpha version and a beta version, and the alpha version is like one step up from the normal version, and the beta one or beta one, or whatever, I don't know how it pronounced that, sorry, is usually the best one. And you get the alpha version in the normal battle pass or season pass, and the beta version in the premium one. So I thought at first, oh fuck this is fuck, or sorry, excuse my language, but yeah, screw this. This is just super pay to win. But if it's only this, I can kind of think it's okay. Then it's maybe like a subscription kind of thing, like you have in I don't know Final Fantasy or World of Warcraft. If you only need to buy the season pass every season, then it's not that bad. I think it's like $10 or something for the season upgrade. But yeah, that's a topic where you can argue a lot about. But yeah, that's what I realized, and it's not big of a deal during the leveling. So you have the season pass, you gather some stuff during the leveling in the background, and that's basically it. It's not really a big of a deal during the leveling. The most things you're gonna do is be questing, doing adventure boards to advance your adventure rank, your class rank, and then you have the missions. What you can also do, what is pretty nice about this game, you don't need to make different characters to have different classes. You can just switch the weapon. For example, here, I'm just going to switch to my level 26 Twin Striker weapon, and I can only do that in town. But yeah, what it does basically, you just change to that class, and your class level just changes to that, and then you can basically it feels like you're regressing just because you can't do then the quest you did on your main class basically, but still then you can do other stuff, and that's basically the reason why you don't want to complete every single quest on your first playthrough, because then on the second one, when you want to level like a second class, you have zero quests left over except for your class quests and whatever. So just to demonstrate that, basically you swap here to the different weapon, and what's going to happen is you still keep your imagines and all that stuff, but your class changes to that class, and everything basically gets downscaled to your level. I'm level 26 now. I had imagines that were level 40 and whatever, but they all just get downscaled. You don't have to farm different ones or craft different ones, so that's pretty nice. I feel like a really good system for multi-classing, which is pretty nice. And also, you kind of have to do that if you want to min-max, because as you can see down here, you have class abilities. And these are your personal class abilities that you have, which are like, I don't know, this class has like the more HP you have, the more damage you do, for example. Or another class has the more but the less health you have, the more damage you do, or something. It's like a passive kind of thing that gives you more strength. And as you can see right next to it, it's shared class abilities. And what that stands for is for, if I go back to my main class, is that you can use passive abilities from other classes for your main class, and you have to level that other class to get those. And I have leveled my Twin Striker to 25, so I have gotten these two abilities from the Twin Striker for the Easy Fighter. So you can kind of mix and mash a little bit the different classes and get like bonuses on one class. Of course, there's best in slots for that, and you want to target specific classes. But yeah, that's kind of an incentive to also do the other classes, and it's not just an incentive, it's kind of, if you want to yeah, have your like top character, you want to do min max, then you kind of have to level another class. But during the leveling, that's not big of a deal. You get your other abilities and whatever. And the alpha and beta versions of the abilities, they also only start mattering after level 50. It's kind of a big part of the end game system, but during leveling you don't really care. You just get your abilities by leveling up, and the imagines you get through getting to new zones, unlocking them through the boards, and then just crafting them through getting the materials. So, what can I say in total? If I wanna, uh, I don't know, summarize everything and just summarize the leveling experience, I would say you'll definitely have an enjoyable time through the leveling, through your like first at least 10 to 30 hours of this game, and it was a lot of fun, to be honest. I was addicted like crazy. Like it was so much stuff I felt like I can explore, I can do, I can wear. It's very nice. So I encourage, even though I said also another negative stuff that I don't like about the game, that I don't think is flashed out yet, which also, to reiterate, this is the game is only out in Japan yet, and this is kind of like Japan is like beta testing or like uh, early accessing this game for us and like giving a lot of feedback, and the devs are working a lot. Like this is a live service game, they're trying to improve a lot of the game over time. So I think like by the time the game comes out in the West and everybody has access to it, a lot of the issues that I stated right now are probably going to be fixed, or at least like they will have worked on it, and it's not that apparent, not that bad. It's not like gonna make you quit or anything. So yeah, for the leveling alone, I feel like it's definitely cool to check the game out. The character customization is really cool. You have a lot of cosmetics in the game. You get quite some of them for free as well. If I go here, this is my all the consumables you have. It's like your regular health potions and like enhancements for, I don't know, strength, battle up, reduce damage taken, whatever. And then here's the inventory where you have your weapons, all your battle imagines, your E-imagine, your enhanced imagines, with the smaller ones for stats, and then you have all the cosmetics and stuff. And That's really a big part of it. I mean, it's the monetization system of the game, like the cosmetics. So you can't really fault them for making a lot of cosmetics and like really want you to, yeah, buy into it and yeah, like I don't know, customize your character more. But just the character customization itself is cool. The characters look really nice and crisp for anime characters, anime style kind of characters. It's really cool. You have a lot of options. They feel nice. The voice acting, at least in Japanese, and Japanese version is great. I love the music too. I have it turned off now, but I love the music in all the different areas. It's really, it feels really nice, and the city feels lively. Like you have so many players always here hanging out in the main hub, and it definitely doesn't miss the mark for MMO feeling, I would say. A a little bit from the dungeon system. I'm not that big of a fan of the just click a button, group up, get ported to the dungeon, and yeah, that's it. You do it and you're done. But apart from that, it's really cool. The style is great. You'll just enjoy exploring the whole world, all the different maps, and you will definitely get your time out of it without paying a single cent for the game. It's what I want to reiterate, that you don't ever feel like or get even you don't even get pop-ups in this game for like, oh, buy this and buy that, whatever. Yeah, you have like extra quests for different events that you have that are like incentivizing you a little bit to follow the event that's going on at the moment. For example, until last week, they had like a bikini, I don't know, like whatever swimsuit event or something. Yeah, who's really surprised during summer that they have an event like that. But it never really never felt like, oh, I have to pay for that or I'll get super strong if I buy something. Especially during the leveling, there's nothing you can buy really that gives you like instant giga power or something, which is what I really like. I don't know how they're gonna go with that, and maybe I haven't understood everything yet, like how pay to win this game is, but just for the enjoyment level of the game, I definitely recommend it, checking it out. But the game has a lot of flaws and you'll burn out at some point and it will get boring. Especially at level 50, it gets ridiculous, I would say. Like the amounts of materials you need for like the weapon I have, for example, or the weapon I wanted to craft right now, which is this one. It's a new weapon that just came out. It's a frost weapon. You need 16 of those materials, and those you can only get through the dungeons. And the missions, as I told you, only give one of them. And if you use your ticket, you can get two. So I have to do that same dungeon 8 times in a row, save up my tickets, or like do it 16 times if I don't have any tickets. They recharge though pretty quickly. I think you get 4 tickets every day back, so not like they fill up instantly every day. You can do 10 a day, but they fill up quite frequently. But yeah, that's why it gets kind of crazy. And then there's a lot of farming you do have to do. If you look, for example, at like the later adventure boards, which are like really high level or high tier, I don't know which is a good example, but for example, kill 30, I don't know what is this, some kind of goblin mob or something. But there's crazier ones like which one is? I wanna find a good example. This one is crazy. For example, kill 50 of some certain mob, and the first stage was gather 50 materials in like one small area, and that is like you're running around for 30 minutes just picking up everything. It's just it gets ridiculous after a while. And also the smaller quests here, as you can see, it's 30 of that, clear that dungeon, kill a named mob, a boss mob, 2 times. So you're waiting like 20 minutes for the guy to show up or do some other stuff in between, and then you have to do that 2 times. And like, why are they like? It's like it feels like just an artificial way to waste your time more and more to just keep you, I don't know, doing tedious chores, keep you playing. And that's what I don't really like, because it gets the reward doesn't get bigger the more the higher level you get and the more tedious the stuff gets. It just feels like something written on a note that you have to do. Like it's just it doesn't really feel that great later on the higher level you get. I don't really know. It's like you're doing a job and all the work you do is like your boss sends you an envelope with a note in it, and it says like do this 10 times, and like how long do you think you can work in that job before you're gonna get burned out? And I feel like this game is kind of like that, and it's sad because the game has so much good going for it. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's really really cool. Like, it's such a beautiful world, and there's all the stuff you can do. Like, um, all the different missions and dungeons, and you have world encounters, named mobs in the world. It feels interactive a lot, and I feel like they can do so much more to make use of all of that. But yeah, to limit it to the leveling experience, you're not gonna feel that too much during that. You're gonna have a great time. It's gonna be nice, and yeah, that's pretty much all that I have to tell you guys in this video. It's been uh a good experience for me, at least. Like, the first 30 hours were amazing, and I feel like I reached a point right now where I'm a little bit like, oh, this is too tedious. There's not enough stuff really to do, especially at the end game. But that's a different kind of video that I'm gonna make. But the leveling, you're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna have a good time. Yeah, that's all I want to say. All I have to tell you guys in this video. So yeah, take care, and uh I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys. Take care.